Yeah, hello. Welcome back to the grind. And anybody new, welcome to you also. So here I am. This is a 1976, what is it? A BMW 2002 E10, I think is the body number. The This week was what we've got working slowly. I worked at the front of the car, did a bunch of work up there. Then I moved to the back, fixed up the fenders on both sides, or the rear quarter panels. Then this week was on to fixing up the rear valance and finishing up just in here on this bracket that holds the gas tank. There's a gas tank bracket, just finishing up that little bit over here and a little bit over there. Then moved on to this stuff here, which is this, there was a big rust hole here, and then that also had got into the, like there's the outer layer, then there's a layer inside, then there's the inner layer. So there's like 3 layers there. So it had got rust into the outer layer and into the next layer up. So I fixed up those and put new metal in there. And then this was just a little bit of surface rust on it, so I cleaned it off. The same there and same there. Cleaned it off, put some rust converter on it, and then I put some of that metal to metal stuff on to make it waterproof. So that's, I think that's it for this week. So stick around. I've told you everything we did, so you can stick around and watch and see how it happened. There's that one there. That's kind of interesting, building that. A little bit frustrating and very interesting. Okay, bye for now. Yeah, I'm back. This is a new week starting, eh? Our new episode number 10 already. I might get these floor panels flattened out. I think there's some issues there. It's not bad. I'll just clean that up. Same on the other side, but there's a hole over there behind the behind that panel. There's a hole in the floor. It needs to be fixed, which is what we'll do. But for starters, I'm going to come back here. Well, first thing, I nailed this thing here down to the floor. Put some concrete bolts in there so it won't wander anymore, I hope. If it wanders, I'm in trouble. Anyway, so this thing here, first I'll start back here. Fix up that little hole that's left over. Fix this edge here that I haven't done yet. Then work on the valance. So this, I've got to fix this little bit right here. And the same on the other side. Then there's a hole there, which is pretty easy to fix that, I hope. This, another hole in the same spot over here. Then I don't know what this is right here. I'll check into that. And then there's those holes up by the hinge up there. Do you remember them? From a long time ago I discovered them when I was running the needle scaler. That's reared its ugly head. And I don't know. Oh, there's plastic underneath there. I don't know what this is. Maybe just riveted on there, I think. So I'll just fix those holes and that'll be fine. Then I gotta clean off all that stuff there and see what it looks like underneath too. Okay, lots to do. Yeah, so I've got this piece here, and where is it here? That's going to turn into this piece. That goes in there at, where does it go? In here. I'll show you. Right up in there, it's a support just for that edge that goes right there. But I'll square it off first, and then I'll put the, it's got a couple of beads in it, just right there, where those black marks are. And I'll show you that when I get to it. Yeah, there's one divot in it. Yeah, you can see that. So I'll do the other one, I'll show you. Hang on. So I've got it in the bead roller thing. This thing here, I've reinforced it. It's like out of, it's from Princess's Auto or Harbor Freight, but they're more, the new ones that you get now are a little bit more reinforced, but this one here I've reinforced it, and I've also changed this bolt a couple of times and stuff like that. So, but I'm happy with the, you can get a wheelie thing. It's easier with a wheel thing, but they've got this handle here, so it should go straight, yeah, right to there, and back again, there, back again. I'll tighten it down a little bit more. There, back again, there, back again. Now loosen it off and pull it out of there and see what I have. Yeah, so there's those two divots. Now that makes it a little bit of a, like, you can see it's got a bit of a whoop to it, so I'll just put it on the anvil and flatten it out. Anyhow, so that part started. Now I have to put the bends in it for the flanges. Yeah, there, that's made. So this thing here, I'll just, it'll sit right in about, whoops, that's upside down or backwards or something. Try this way. No. Gotta be this way. Right about there, like that. And I'll plug weld it to the bottom here and plug weld it to the top there. Let's see how that works out. Okay, yeah, there it is. Solid. So 3 plug welds on the bottom, 3 plug welds on the top, and I think we'll be fine. Now, what else am I doing here? I missed that hole a little bit. I could go in there and do a better job of that plug weld right there. I'll do that. Now, next is, what's next? I'll let it out. What will I do? Yeah, I'll fix up this hole right here that I left over. And I'll replace this bit of channel here. That'll finish up everything on the inside, I think. Yeah, I think we'll be done. And then I'll go back out to the outside and do the... Shouldn't be able to see my finger there. Oh, I shouldn't be able to see my hand here. Oh well, we'll get it. Yeah, pretty well finished inside here. It's welded up that little hole there. Got this thing here on. Showed you that a bit ago. And then I put a new lip on here, from here to here. This was a little bit rusty here. I'll just put some rust converter on that, I think. And that'll be okay for the next 50 years. Now this car is likely 1976, so it's 49 years old. And you can see here that the lots of penetration on that, welding on that business out there. This thing here, still haven't figured out what to do about that, but we'll do something about it. Likely I'll put a board here and a board on the outside and then put some glue in there and then squish it together. Anyhow, that's later. Yeah, now I've done a bunch of, try to clean that up there. It's very, very pitted. And I think I'm gonna have to cut it out from about here to about here and up to about this level here. Put in new metal. I was thinking about cleaning it up, putting on rust converter, and I really like this is, well, I'm pretty sure it's solid enough. I'll think about it a bit more before I get too drastic. Like I could plug, these were places where it was very, very, very pitted, and I put a drill through there to just see what it looked like. Maybe I'll experiment. I'll cut out a little tiny bit here. See how that looks. See what it's like on the inside. And if it's okay on the inside over here and here, then I'll just replace that a little bit. And maybe a bit over there too. We'll see. Okay, I won't get drastic, but that's for tomorrow anyhow, because it's quitting time today. So, see you later. Yeah, I'm back. Still thinking about this, but I guess I'm gonna have to take out some of this stuff, just see how it looks. Anyway, that's all right. I might have to take. We'll see what happens. But first, I'll get this off. This there was a plastic thing here. You can see that this thing goes into that. That's flow-through ventilation for something or other. But there's looks like 2 1/2-inch bolts holding that on. See if we can get them off there. Yeah, so it's got those 2 bolts and then big washers. Now I left the dirt, or left the stuff on the washers, because that shows where they were plugged in to here before, and maybe I can get it back to the same spot. I'll clean that all off and just fix that up. It's good, like this part here is, this part's good. Just that part there has got a rust on it. Yeah, there you go, that's cleaned up. I'll put a little bit of black paint on that underneath it and then clean this up. And I think I'll just put that back right on there so I don't lose it and forget where things go. Yeah, that's back together now, and we'll hope it's going to stay rust free. I might put some, well, I don't know what I'll do. That it'll have to have some of that metal to metal on there later. I just put paint on it to get everything covered up because I wanted to put this on top. Anyhow, and I loosened up this hinge so that it's nice and easy to move. This part here, this plastic thing will go back in there. But after the trunk goes on, the lid goes on it, because I'm not sure that I have it exactly in the right spot. Close though. I guess I'll cut this bad stuff out of here. It's quite a bit of bad stuff in there. Some of it, like down here, is okay, and I might have to just cut across that. But this lip is okay up here, so I might just, in fact, it's all okay there. Might just see what I can see, leave most of the lip intact, and then cut the rest of it out. We'll just see how I do here. Yeah, so I cut all this out of here, and then I just put it right back in there so that I can get the proper dimensions here. So what I'll do now is I'll make this piece up to the edge here, I think, all the way along. And then, where am I pointing? Make this piece all the way along here, so I'll have the back edge of it. Then I won't put that in right away, but it'll be ready to go. Then I'll fix up this stuff in here and go from there. Okay, that's the plan anyhow. Oops, so this can be a learn from my mistakes moment, which is what the guy on, what's he call himself? Oh dear me. Anyhow, he's the one with bucket seats. But learn from my mistake moment is make a model of what you want to put back in before you cut out the piece that you're cutting out, so that it's the only true model is what's on the car already. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And now I remember Low Buck Garage. If you watch Low Buck Garage, he has lots of learn from my mistake moments, which is kind of fun to watch. Okay, bye. Yeah, I put up a big fight, but I won. Anyhow, that's the piece that goes like in here. Will fit right in there. So I'm going to go and cut and butt that in there so that it looks, so that it's that'll be my guide piece where things go to. I'll just tack it in. I won't put it in for permanent yet, but it likely won't change once I get it in there. Yeah, so just by sort of by luck, it met this behind piece for that much. So so I took advantage of that, welded it up. Now I'll run a piece down here and I'll make it so that it comes out here, and might have to butt onto here, and then sort of just come down and melt onto here, or meet onto here. But I'm going to fill this gap here, fill that gap there, and then worry about this piece here. See what happens. Lots and lots of fussy stuff today, putting that in there. So I made this lip that go along here, and then now I'm fitting in into there. Got this piece here to put in tomorrow, but it's quitting time today, so time to turn off the lights. That's enough of that. Anyhow, that not much movies, just lots and lots of fussing around. Don't know if you can see that, but yep, it's more snowing. Oh well, I'll have to be on that tomorrow. See what happens. Yeah, so I spent some time on the snowblower this morning. Not too, like only an inch or two of snow. And those things the sun's got the snow off of the solar panels. Still a bunch of snow on the solar panels up above there. They aren't producing much. Anyway, here I am back at the day, back today. Another day of, ta-da, the 2002 BMW. Yeah, that's all put together there. Now I'll get the vacuum and vacuum that out, I think, and then I'll build a piece to go in here. That'll be, shouldn't be that bad. We'll see. Okay, now I'm on putting this piece, like I made, getting a heady, eh? I made two pieces like that big, and they're just gonna, like I'm just gonna weld them to the bottom of the channel here and cut and butt them into the top of the channel, which I'm in the process of doing. I've got it done from here to here. Then you can see, now I'll just cut that bit out there, put this in, and then I'll see about getting it welded along the bottom here. That's going to take lots of grinding to clean that up, but should work all right, should be okay. Now I cleaned out the inside by putting with a vacuum cleaner, or some people call it a Hoover, and then I ran a magnet up back and forth here to pick up any metal shavings that are in there. Then I put some paint on there just to keep it from rusting in the future, I hope. Mind you, like, and I painted the back of this, like that thing there. I painted the back of that. Some of it'll burn off, but that's okay. It'll protect some of it. So I'm welding all the way along the bottom. I've got that tacked into the top there. I'm going to weld this all the way along the bottom, and then I'll spend a lot of time grinding that back to make that look like that, maybe. Try to. Anyhow, but it's sort of working, I think. We'll see. Want to watch? I'll just put you up here. Yeah, right. Ah, a bunch of grinding now. Yeah, that's going to work all right. I'm going to do some more grinding on this down here, but you can see that I've still got to do some welding to fill in these little bit of the holes. Then I'll grind it off, but I wanted to just see how that was going to work out, and I think it's going to be fine. I'll get this welded in as like a normal cut and butt, and then I'll get the other side. The other side might have to, like, to get the cut and butt out of it. Actually, there's a piece of metal over here somewhere. There was a cut and it didn't. So in there is a piece of metal. Don't know if it'll fall off there or not. We'll find out. Maybe I can put a screwdriver back there and get it out. I don't know. I tried putting the magnet back there, but it never caught it. Anyway. Okay, that looks not bad. All the way along there. Huh. Better than I thought it would come out. Oh well, that's good. So now, got to do the other half. Yeah, so this one here, I sort of did the same cut and butt business, but I opened it up at the end here so I could pull that open and get the piece from behind out of there. So now I'll go ahead and weld it up. Now, do you suppose it's any better than it was before? I guess it is. New fresh metal in there anyhow, no rust. This is all rust in here. Wait till I find that. I'll find the piece that I took out. Yeah, so here's what I took out. It was all pretty badly pitted, and some of it coming through on the other side. But not that bad really. I likely could have got away with leaving that in there, but oh, up here, that was pretty bad. Anyhow, all new now. Whether you like it or not, it's new. And I'll put some of that gray body filler on there. That'll be that part done. Yeah, there. That's officially done up there. I'll get in here and sand up all this stuff one of these days. It's only the gray stuff is only for covering up the welds and filling the pinholes. Any pinholes that are left over gets filled up, and then it's also waterproof. I think I've said that before, but anybody new watching wonder what I do with that stuff. That's Evercoat metal to metal body filler, and you don't want to use that for body filler for body work because it's hard like a rock when it's done. So it's just for covering the welds, and then seals up the welds well. Welds well? Huh, what the hell? Okay, there you go. See you later. Yeah, there now. I'm back. Hey, so I took a little bit of sandpaper just to knock the tops off of that, and now I'll do some Bondo on it, and then I'll sand it down nicely to what it's. When you try and sand that gray stuff, it's like sanding iron. Anyhow, I've got a block sander there that you see the thing. But now I'm gonna go and put the car up and tackle the rear valance, I think. See what I can do about that. Yeah, there. Now I've cut out where that hole was here, cleaned that off a bit just to see what's there. Cleaned off this. Looks like there was a dent up here. I'll look into that later. All these holes that hold on that thing for the valance, for the bumper. There's a hole there for some reason. Cut this out. This is cut out from before. Now this part here was still in here. It came out of here. It's where the bumper slides into. That just took a lot of picking and poking to get it out of there, but I got it out of there. And now I'll see if I can fix this all up in there. I might have to get in with a die grinder and see what I can do about cleaning that stuff up there. Might be able to get underneath it. Yeah, I can get underneath it. Okay, we'll get underneath it. We'll fix up what's ever in here, and then start putting in some patches. Okay, there I put a new backing plate in here, and up in there sort of joined it together. That's not the greatest repair right here because on the other side this touches, but I didn't build it out far enough to make it touch. Oh well, I'll do something about that or figure out something. Anyhow, figure out something or figure out nothing, I don't know. Now I'll go and cut a piece that'll fit in here. That's a little bit of a complex piece. Just looking at it like that takes some pounding to make it come around that curve and not that. It's sort of like a cone, eh? Anyhow, we'll figure that out. And then cut that piece, and cut this piece out. So now I'll use the plasma cutter. You like watching plasma cutting, hey? I'm gonna put you on here and see what find a spot to put you where you can see it. How's that? That's not bad. Give me a minute to get going here. Yeah, though I'm just going to cut a piece right across here that's, you know, approximately the right size. Then I'll trim it up on the trimmer over there. You better watch yourself, dog, because you won't like this. Okay, here we go. That works. That way there's a lot less Yeah, so when you get the plasma cutter working the way you like it to work, it really cuts a nice clean cut. And I just use this, I've got this piece of angle, and there's a bunch of, I've got little magnets here that hold it to its spot, and then I use that for a guide, and it works pretty good. Anyway, now I'll cut this up to the sizes that I need. Yeah, I've been working away at this little piece here. See the welding on the back here, but on the front it looks pretty good. So see how this kicks out right there, eh? To make it to go along there, and then that sort of just about makes it there. And now I have to make a bend in the bottom of this, and it fades off to over here. That might just do it. I'll just see what I can do. I think I'm pretty close to fitting there. Oddly enough. Okay, see what I can do. Yeah, so that took a couple hours just to make that little piece, but it seems to fit all right and looks okay. And then everything here comes together nicely. So I'll do this one here next, and I'll move over to that one, and then the last one last. Now I'm going to take the grinder disc and just make that seam look a little bit better. In fact, I'll do that right now, hang on. Because I welded it on the back, and then I just put a couple of tacks here just so it'll hold it together while I was figuring out how to get it on here. Now, then I plug welded this from the back to here, butt welded there. This has got two flanges on it that I just welded together. So that's all solid, and everything's good. Right on. This one here I'll do next. There's a dent here somewhere it's gonna pound on. Don't know where it is, somewhere on that. I'll figure that out one day. Yeah, so I went ahead and cut a patch out for this little bit here, welded it in, and it's like, this is pretty thin material here, but it did weld it in okay. A couple of, like I had to chase a blow through here. I think that was the only one that was bad. And then over here on this side, like this would be an alternate place for an exhaust pipe. That's where the exhaust pipe comes out. I think I've seen a few of them with the exhaust pipe out here for whatever reason it goes across. Anyhow, this is pretty weak in there, so I think I'm going to have to just cut that off there and cross here and just remake that piece right there. That'll be a tomorrow thing, because that's every time I touch it, it just blows through. So there you go. So I'll do this one and this one tomorrow, and then the rear end will be pretty well done, right? So after that, see how we're doing for time on the video. I think we got time. I'll tackle this one here, which is pretty, like this one, I always say it should be all right. Famous last words, but you see up here it's maybe not so all right. I'll just, yeah, where these are, we'll just have to do some chopping in there and just take a look. Okay, well, that's for tomorrow anyhow. See you then. Yeah, there's what happens if you have when you have a steel roof, right? That's gone. Looks like there's more to come here. Oh well, we'll get it. Yeah, okay, I'm back and ready to tackle this stuff again. I'll see if I can just patch that up, a little tiny patch there. See if that'll work instead of cutting that all out. Might work. Then I'll make this one. Then that'll be the back end cured. Then I'll just have to go and have a good look at all this stuff here. Because that's, this little bit here needs to be completely redone. Maybe to right here, and then maybe have to just do a little bit there, a little bit there, and a little bit there. We'll just clean out after, and a little bit right there. But that's coming up soon. Then there's a mark in the paint here, but I'll scrape the paint off there and see what's underneath. Anyway, that's coming along. Big day today. I got some casters for this thing here, so it'll move around easily. Now I don't know how stable it'll be. I think it'll be stable enough. Those have got a really deep throat. I can put something in way over to here if I needed to. Anyway, but that's, they seem to work all right, these things. Yeah, so I went with the bead roller here, and I made this little piece. I sort of just took a bigger square piece, put that on there, and kind of copied the way the curve went, and then I trimmed the outside edges to fit, and it might be all right. Just check it out here. Can't remember which way it goes all the time. Like that. No. Try like that. No. Oh dear. It does fit in here. Fit here a minute ago. Oh, there. Like this. No. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Like that. Now it doesn't have the exact curve coming this way because it kind of S's. The curve makes an S turn, but I think I can live with that. Look good to a man on horseback, I think. So I'll put that in and see what it looks like. Yeah, there, that's definitely not in the perfect range, but it's in the close to good enough range. A little bit of body filler in that edge there, and I'll make that look better. Now this part here, I'll see about getting that. I got to clean that off here first, and then make a piece to go in here. Yeah, I get to try out my shrinker and stretcher on wheels here now. See how that goes. That was easier than the last. Whoops, there. That's a lot easier than last time. Now, see if it'll actually hold in place while I try and shrink this. Let's see what happens here. So, put it in and see what happens. Oh yeah, it doesn't take off anywhere. Whoop, tips right over if you're not careful. That's getting a bit of a curve to it. Let's see how it fits where I want it to go. Kind of like the curve. Pretty close. A little bit more I think it needs. Then I have to make a split cut here and make it on an angle so it'll fit into there. So I'll show you that. I'll do a little bit more shrinking on it, and then I'll show you what comes up next. Yeah, so I've got a pair of pliers clamping that on here, and then this is at about the right height. I can trim that off a little bit later. Now, then this thing, what did I do? What am I trying to do here? I'm gonna go and make a filler piece to put in here. And then that'll make that there, and then after that I'll cut it off here. And then that'll all just fit and look like it's supposed to be there, right? So I've got a little bit of relief, like it goes at one angle there and then it bounces out more here. So I got a bit of relief there to make that thing kick over. Okay, yeah, that's getting close to being, I got it welded down that line, well, just tacked down that line. And I put 2 tacks here, but those I'll take out afterwards. I'm gonna weld it on the back here. And then I'll go right now, lift it up, and I'll do these plug welds behind there. Okay, that's that thing there done, and this thing here done. They look all right. I think I'll be happy with all that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 repairs on the back here. This thing here, I'm just going to put some rust converter on that. It'll be fine. I don't know what's underneath here. A little bit of body putty on there. I don't feel anything on the inside. I'm going to just happily ignore that and put a bit of rust converter on that. And I'll do the same here with these ones. I'll just do that right now. Yeah, so these, whoops, there's one on the floor. Oh dear, long way down to the floor these days. So there's these things, they came out of these holes here along the way. Another one there. And you just punch the center of them out with a fairly small punch. Well, this punch here, that one there. And that worked. Then the center disappears into the void there to never be seen again, but you can put in new ones then. And then I'll clean this off with that tool there for a bit. See how it looks? I did some cleaning here. It looks like it just goes over to here and then it's all right, which is good. I'll see what happens. And I won't attack this with the needle scaler because that'll bend stuff. Anyway, okay. Yeah, once you start digging, you just find more trouble. So there's a little bit of damage to the that sill in here, but not much, just a little bit. And down towards here, it's strong. It's no problem. And all that's just surface rust from this stuff here rusting. So I'll just keep exploring over to here somewhere. See what it comes up with. Like that piece there is not bad just around the hole it was rusting. So water was getting in around that hole and then coming down here and rusting this stuff, right? So anyway, we'll just keep on cutting until they find a spot where it's good. There, that's enough exploring for today. I'll get at it again tomorrow. I'll pull this thing here is the whatever you call that thing. Oh dear me, it's the jack stand. So I'll pull that off. The car came with 2 new jack stands to go on the front. So this one here I'll pull off. Likely on the other side will be the same thing as here. I think what I'll do is I'll cut it out to about here and just see what it looks like underneath. So that's all right. And I'll do any repairs it has to have on the inner sill there. Then carry on from there. Yeah, I'm back. So the first thing I did today is just move the hoist over to here from here. So on the other side, right there is where the rust hole is. That's the same thing that happened on the 635. Anyway, I'm going to clean out the plug welds up to about here and then see if I can peel this back. I really should just do it up to here, eh? But I don't want to get into that if I don't have to. I'll just do it to about, well, I'll start small. I'll start it up to about here and just see what's underneath here. If it's rusty underneath here, then I'll go farther, but if it's not, I'll just cut out that little bit. Okay, how about that? Yeah, this inner plate, inner outer sill, like there's a outer sill, which is this, right? Then there's the inner, which is this, which is a strength piece that goes up the body. And then there's an inner sill, which is back here. You can see it. But those two, they don't join. They're just, the only thing that joins them is this skin. And the skin is spot welded on the bottom of this. There you can see the spots, which I didn't see before. And then it's also spot welded on here, so that it's a good, like it's a piece of the car. So I'll have to, and then there's some damage to it here. I'll cut it out to up to here and then see what comes, but I'll get the rest of that, rest of those spot welds out of there. Yeah, so every so often there's one of these little hoopy things here that I think is supposed to be for drainage, but they don't drain much because it's likely all plugged up with rust and stuff. There was one here, and there's one here, and there's one right here. Anyway, I'll just, first off I'll get these plug holes out of here, along there, and then I'll get the ones that are underneath here. Yeah, plug hole removers. I've got one of these things that's just a little 5/16 inch thing that goes on a drill. But first you have to give it a bit of a guide hole. So I just put this 1/8 inch in, maybe, you know, not just up to the first level of metal. Then this little pointy thing here goes into that, and it pushes in like that, and keeps it kind of centered, but you still got to be careful with it. Yeah, so this thing here, get up close here, it's pitted badly back here, like that definitely needs replacing. About here down to about here. Otherwise it's all right. I don't have no problem up here. It's got some surface rust on it, but that's all. And that was created by these holes like that, and let the water in, and then it wasn't draining out properly. So I'll put a couple of drain holes in it so that it drains well, maybe. And you know, how much is this car going to be out in the rain anymore? Zero. How much is it going to be out in the winter? Zero. So there you go. It'll be fine. And then I'll cut this right across here. I really didn't need to cut all that out of there because that was all pretty good metal, but you have to get underneath it to see what's going on. Now this part here, I'll just cut a little bit out here, make a patch here, and it'll be a double patch because it'll be a seam down the middle. See, I don't know how that seam worked, whether it looks like it's a lap seam on it. Anyhow, but we'll just see. This is fine. That little bit there, I might just cut out a little bit there. Put a small patch in here. That was fine. Because the rest of them are okay. And maybe I'll drill a couple of little drain holes, like one here and one here. Let it drain out, because there's these things here that are supposed to let it drain, but they get locked up. Anyhow. Okay. Maybe a drain hole underneath each one of these holes, and that'll let it drain out a bit. Give it a bit of a chance. Okay, so now I guess I just got to cut that. I'll cut across there. This is like 16 gauge, or yeah, that's what I'll use 16 gauge there. And it's pretty simple because it doesn't attach to anything at the bottom. It just attaches it to the outer skin. Well, that's, yeah, no, yep, simple indeed, not likely. Anything that I think is simple isn't. Yeah, there, so I just marked that tape along there and tape down there, sort of the extents of where I want to cut it to. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, I sort of picked the right spot because this has got some protection still on it from factory. That's the factory end of it right there. So that's all that's all pretty good behind there now. Now I'll just make this piece, put it back in, and then, where am I pointing, I wonder? I'll make this piece, put it back in, but I'll hit this with some rust converter in here. That won't. And then I'll hit it with some black paint up in there. See if that'll stop it from getting worse. I think that hole is supposed to be there. Don't know. Check the other side. See what's on the other side. No hole there. So that hole's got to be covered. Whoops. That hole's got to be covered in there. The other side might not have to do so much. Yeah, so this, not really sure how that looks like. It looks like there's a plug there of some sort, so I'll work on that. But that'll be it. I'll have to make this, well, first off, this piece here goes in because that's just, it just sits there, right? Then I'll make the, then I'll make this outer piece here, where this piece here comes next, cut that off, make that outer piece, then make the outer wall fit to that. That'll work. Okay. Yeah, so I checked it out. It's only 18 gauge. Like, that makes it easier. It's awful hard to mold 16 gauge. Well, it's harder to mold 16 gauge, but that's 18 gauge makes it life easier. Okay, I'll take a wire brush and clean up inside there. Where am I? Take a wire brush, clean up that stuff inside there, put a coat of paint on it, then start building. Yeah, so I cut a piece of steel a little bit longer, right? And then I shaped it up on, I just shaped it up on the bender over there. You know, did little tiny bends till it made that proper curve. Whoops, till it made that proper curve. And now I'm just gonna, I've got it laid in here. This is the top of it. And cut that along, boy, pointing everywhere. Cut this along here, and that should just fit right back into place, right? This is the bottom. Well, now let's see. I've got arrows on it so I know which way it points up, right? But I'm not very smart at the best of times. I think that'll fit in there. A little bit long, so I'll make it a bit shorter down this end here. So just a tiny bit. Should I put it in? Oops, sorry. Should I just put it in there and then trim it off? I think that's what I'll do. I'll put it in and then trim it off after. That way we know it's going to fit. So I have to clean that paint off of there and the paint off there, and then, where am I pointing? Got to clean the paint off there and then the paint off there, and then I'll weld it in. Yeah, I guess that's all right. So I got it welded up here and across here most of the way. I've got this air hose here for when it catches on fire. I'll just finish welding it across. There, that's back to being what it was before. A little bit more gap here than was originally, but not too much. So now I've got to I had to make this pretty smooth here so I could do plug welds along here. Now I got to make a piece to fit in here. First I'll make this little piece here to fit that right there. Then what did I do? We'll just see how I can do here. I'll think about it a bit before I get at it. But mostly this part here I have to make first. because that's complicated. I'll see what I can do about making that piece. Wonder what it looks like on the other side. Oh yeah, it's not that bad. This side here I might not have to do much to it because it's closed all the way. So I can pretend there's nothing wrong with it underneath, which there likely isn't, but maybe I'll drill a couple of little drain holes in here so that water in the future can drain out. Yeah, so this inside, can you see in there? That inside piece here has to come right out to the edge of this, and then I can make this outer piece. So I can, I should make this outer piece first before I cut that off of there, because that'll give it some the structure. So I think from here up I'm okay, so I'll make the piece from here down, and it'll be like I'll make a piece that's just this wide, and then I can blend this one into it. And it's going to be covered up with the sill anyhow, eh? I don't know what goes there. Is there just a... Oh no, all there is along here is a piece of trim that goes right along here somehow or other. Not really sure what it looks like, because it's not there. Wonder if it's on the door. Yeah, down there. See that trim? That piece. Oh no, there's something goes up over here. Is that a piece of trim that just goes along there, eh? I'm not really sure. I don't remember. Yeah, just a piece of trim that goes right along here. This thing here. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll let the car down a bit so I can get this thing, that thing there done. Yeah, so here's this piece. It's pretty like it's complex piece, but it's all right. So I've got that arrow pointing up, so I know which way it goes. So it twists like inward along that bend there, and then it also twists this way. So you got a double twist on it. So see that? It's got that bow there, and the bow there, and the bow there. So I'll hammer this out a bit on the whatever you call that thing, on something there to make it, with a dolly and hammer to make it a little bit smoother on the top. Then that'll cut off right there. That arrow's up. So this piece is ready, and I'll sort of finish it up. So I'm going to cut that off. Then I'll work on this area in here to get this right, because that needs a piece to cover up here and across here. Anyhow, work on that. Okay, here I am, right? So I made a piece that'll fit kind of in there like that, about there somewhere. And then to fill in the rest of that hole, I need to cut this piece here, like on that line, and then attach it to that. Then see about final fitting on here, because it comes down here and sort of just gets around that. Hopefully, yeah, there's enough there. We'll just see what happens. Okay, so there's that piece. I welded it all together, and I've got some plug holes in it, and hopefully, oh well, I think it'll fit all right. It'll sort of fit right in here like that, and then that'll create the outside of this, and then the other piece will come along, the skin piece will come along here. Good. I'm happy with that. Yeah, every now and then that's what happens with the welder. I got a new one to stick in there, so I'll get on that. Yeah, okay, so I just put this little triangle piece in here that I cut out of it and turned into an invisible weld. I don't know how that happened. I'm trying to find the piece that I cut out. There's the piece that I cut out there. Just like it wasn't too bad, but that was just about through. But you can't see it on this side. This one here you can see on that side. So anyway, this, based on that, I don't think I have to cut anything out on this one here. I'll just cover it, like clean it up, and it'll be good, because it's not, if I cut it, it's just going to make it a warp, and I don't want a warp. But I'll do a little bit more grinding on that right about now and just see how it looks. Yeah, there I put some rust converter on that, and I'll just let it, and the same with this, it darkened it up right away the way it's supposed to, and same with that one. So I'm not going to cut into that right there. That's fine. I'll just put some metal to metal stuff on top of the rust converter, and then we'll go from there. This one here had to do because there was holes coming through, but that one there don't have to do. And this one here don't have to do, because I think it's pretty good. Anyway, that's enough for today. We'll come back tomorrow. I'll see if I can get that rocker panel finished over there tomorrow, and then after that will likely be the end of this video. We'll just see how it goes. Don't know. Okay, here I am back again and ready to get onto this. Make that what do you call that? The outer skin on there if I can. This thing here, I'm not 100% happy with it. I may have to just cut it down here, bring this out and put a little bit of an expander in there somehow or other. We'll just see. Once I have the outside built, I'll do something about that. This, spent some time today, hour or two. Got a shut-off switch here on the air compressor, and then put a dual thing on there so that one pipe goes to the what do you call that thing? Plasma cutter, and then it's you can unattach it and take it out, take the plasma cutter away. All right, it goes shut-off switch there. This one here goes just to the normal hose through a regulator, 90 pounds I have it at, and that's captures water and air filter and all that kind of stuff. Then another regulator here just for that, and I put a shut-off switch up there, so that this thing here likes to leak, so shut off the switch there so it can leak all at once. When it's not in use, I won't have it turned air to it. Okay, anyhow, that's that story. You don't need any more of that. See what I can do about making up this thing here now. In the MIG welder with steel on it for all this stuff here, mostly because it's, you know, partly structural, and it's in a place where it shouldn't, famous last words, shouldn't warp too much. Like I put that piece in there and a little bit of a sink to it, but it's pretty good. A little tiny bit of body filler on that will make it happy. So carry on. Okay, so I bent up a piece of metal that'll go in and do this first chunk over to there, because it changes here and goes higher. Difficult to make that all work in one. So how did I get that? How to decide on that bend? I made myself a little model here that sort of just fits. Well, here I am. Fits right onto that, like that. So that's the bend it needs. Then I very slowly shaped it up in this thing here. So there are, like, it's a crunch, crunch, crunch to make it happen, but you can't really see the straight lines on it because they're all so close together. Anyway, maybe a 1/4 inch apart, you know, 1/4 inch or a centimeter apart. No, not a centimeter, 1/4 inch or a 1/2 centimeter apart. And then makes that nice bend. And surprise, I surprised myself. It fits right on there. Like that's a perfect fit there. I don't know how come. Now I'll do a cut and butt. I'll clamp it at the bottom. I'll make the plug holes all the way across the bottom. Fill in a couple of these things here that I went a little bit too much with the cutting tool. And then I'll do a cut butt along here. It's a cut to fit there already, but I'll do a cut and butt along there, and then I'll see about adding this piece on at the end here. Okay, that's the plan. See how that works out. There, that's fitted on here. Had that flange too long, and then the cut buttholes were too low, so I had to cut it down and then redo those holes a little bit. And I should have made it just a bit longer than it is. Anyway, but that's how it is now. Like if you look here, the factory finish is folded, everything is folded over here. Very nice job. Much nicer work than I do, but I'll see if I can make that sort of look like that later. Anyhow, that'll be down the road. But good news is these plug holes come right up against here, so that'll be good. So I'll cut and butt this right here, and that's below that bit of a curve, and I've made this, like I made this piece yesterday and stuck it in there so that I didn't have to deal with that little curve bit there. Where am I pointing? Right there. Okay, now, so I'll cut in there, and I'll cut in there, then I'll cut the whole thing free. Like, don't know how I'll do it, but I'll cut in there, I'll cut in there. I might just then take it out and see if I can do a fitting in here somehow. And that'll get the piece from behind out of there. Yeah, that's coming along. So the bottom here, I've got that all plug welded all the way along there. Plus, I still have to do one here. But what I did for these ones here, they're a little bit distant from the, to get them up next to the metal and the metal beneath. So I put a pair of pliers like that onto the, and clamped them hard before I plug welded any of this stuff. And then I pounded up with a hammer until that came up to meet, and that seemed to work all right. So I think it's okay. I think it's a nice patch there. Now to make this part here as nice as that part, well, don't count your hatches before the chickens come home or something like that, eh? So I'll just get this welded up and then I'll get that one done. Yeah, so I was waiting, while I waited for things to cool down. It's hot now. I just went with a round of weld. Then I fashioned up this piece here, which I had cut off the end of that anyhow, but it goes a bit farther up there. And I've got that, like the curve, the dive in there. And now there's just this little piece here that I'll have to put a patch in there. But coming along all right. And I redid this business over here so that it'll sit down better. And I'll fix that up as we go along here. So, came along okay. There, that's all welded up. Now, it's going to take some more, like a pinhole there and stuff like that. And a little blow through right there. Don't know. And another pinhole here. So I'll fix that up tomorrow because I've had enough today. When you get a bit impatient with it, then you should quit, because otherwise you might be looking for trouble if you don't. A little bit of a dip right there, but otherwise this panel stayed. Didn't warp. Good. And then this part here somewhere, this bit here sort of goes on about there, right? And I'll make that happen somehow, like that. It'll just I'll make this bit of a curve in it. Figure out tomorrow. That's a tomorrow thing. Anyhow, see you later. Okay, so been at it for about an hour and a half here. Didn't film much because it was all same stuff. Anyhow, this, I got the cap on the end of this, and maybe it's a pinhole there. I'll check it out. And then all of this is welded in all the way across, plugged this way onto the body, and plug hole this way along here. So I think that's pretty near enough for this video. I think we're oh, I'll put the gray stuff on it and then I'll show it to you and we'll close this off. Yeah, there. Now I put that gray stuff over everything. Looks pretty ugly for starters, but it'll be okay once I sand it off. And then it's just for covering up the welds and making them waterproof, so water doesn't come through any pinholes and bubble underneath the paint. That's the idea with that stuff. Anyhow, so there. Now that's done. The other side is mostly all right. I'm going to check it out, but I think we're okay over there. And so that's most of the body work. Oh yeah, I've got to do the trunk and the engine bonnet. So the boot lid and the bonnet still needs to be, and one door. Oh, I'm nowhere done yet. Okay, so that's it for this one though. So got the, what did we do? We fixed up around the back, all the rear valance, the holes and stuff that were along in there. Then I went up to this running board here. Oh, and I also finished up just right in here too, the that little bit there and that little tiny bit there that was pending. That was the a little bit rusty on the sill there, or whatever they call that thing, the bracket for the gas tank. And then we did the back valance, and we did this thing here, which was quite involved, this one. So anyhow, that's all done, ready for the next step. And I think next I'm gonna go see this all crumpled up here. That was from when they loaded the car onto the truck for transport. They used a forklift, and that got underneath there and made a mess of that. It was much messier before, and I jumped on it, stomped on it to make it come a bit cleaner. So I think next week I'm going to fix up that stuff. I'm slowly working forward. I worked at the front, went to the back, and then working forward again. So we'll see what we can do about getting this intermediate stuff done next week. Like there's that, and then there's a rust hole underneath the back floor, underneath over there. Okay. Come on back for more. There'll be lots more. Bye for now. Okay, so here we are. March 1st. February's over. Thank God for that. February was cold and dark. Anyway, well, no, I guess there was more sun in February than there was last February, but still felt pretty cold and dark to me. Hey, you know, the tide came in pretty high, and the wind was blowing off from the west, and it blew out my favorite iceberg. Looks like it's gone. High enough water to take it away. A little bit breezy here today now, coming in from the south. Yeah, and there's some open water out there, so the wind was blowing offshore. Took away that big old grounded iceberg that was there. Ice cake? Iceberg? What? And if you look way out there past the open water, I can see some seals with my eye. I don't know if you can see them out there. Anyhow, there you go. Another day. March 1st, 2025. See you later.